Hello and welcome back for race 2 of round 1 in season 3 here at the Bespoke Racing League. And this time again we are a bit short on drivers as some of them are struggling to get some stuff done during lockdown, but we will definitely have a little bigger grid for round 2, which does start tomorrow at the Shipping International Raceway. But without any further ado, I think we should run across the grid order, and to do so, we have Saurabh Bandapati in P1 with a 1 minute 28.0, out with the reigning champion in P2. Just two tenths of Sai Sanjay with a 1 minute 28.4, a pole sitter from previous race. Failed to manage to do the same today, but Vishwas Vajraj in P4, the rest of the drivers did miss out. Did fail to set a lap time, and then we have Vignesh Kadrabad in P6, 5, and Shanali Mohsin in P6, and Oshan Kotharia at the last row of the grid in P7. So we are one driver short of yesterday, and I'm pretty sure that these drivers will do what they can. And now moving on for the race, it's going to be a 12 lap race, definitely shortened from race 1, and we will be having better. We are improving on in our race distances now. But now as you wait on the drivers to start gridding, um, I believe someone's already on the grid, and think my timing screen seems to have failed because I can't see the driver names. I'm just gonna reload that. Yeah, there it is. We do have Saurabh Bandapati on pole position, so we will be looking at him from the start of this race, and we're just waiting for Saurabh Bandapati and Vignesh to now come back on the grid, so that we can now go forward with the race. In the meantime, let's see what sort of camera angles do we have today. That seems to be a better angle today for the race start. But now just waiting on the pole sitter to come on the grid. He does not have too much time left before we start with the race, so he needs to come back on grid and get on grid as soon as he can. Otherwise, he's probably gonna miss out on the start that he is. And now we're just waiting on Vignesh to make it to the grid so we can actually start. But I believe he has missed the start, or maybe he's just smart to probably avoid any incident. But now here, as we are waiting for the lights to go, lights out, and away we go. Everybody seems to be gotten a good start. Sai Sanjay a bit slow of the start compared to the other, but everybody keeping it clean at this point of time. And Saurabh Bandapati and Sai Sanjay keeping it clean. Let's have a look at the back of the grid. It's all clean for race 2. A lot better than race 1 for sure. But now looking back at the front of the grid, we have Advait in P2 in the slipstream of Saurabh Bandapati. Was trying to get him to avoid that as much as he can, but Saurabh managed to hold up as he runs a bit wide, which leaves him vulnerable for next corner, which is the double right-hander. So Saurabh is in the more advantage position here. Place where he can probably hold it, which he does very well, as although it does run a bit wide on the exit of that corner. And we did see some fantastic battles between these three drivers in fact yesterday, and we'll definitely look forward for more by Saurabh Bandapati. It does go defensive, and the other locks up, and Sai Sanjay very opportunistic over there, tries to go for the move, but no avail at the end of it. Is now back on the grid, but now going on the main straight, almost completing one lap now. Vignesh has come out of the pit, so yeah, it was a strategy to stay back and maybe avoid any incidents the best he can. But since we didn't have any, he's fallen back 6.5 tenths behind. But now Sai Sanjay is chasing after Advait, who is chasing after Saurabh Bandapati, and none of them being able to make any moves so far. Shanali Mohsin seems to have fallen off, but Advait has spun. Advait has gone into a spin. I believe was touched by, and there's another incident. Advait coming back onto the racing line very recklessly there. That is definitely not good for Oshan Kotharia, and definitely could have been better for him. But again, Vignesh is now out and is on track. Shanali Mohsin's in the pit. I do not know why. Let's have a look at that a bit later in the race. But now Oshan and Advait are the two closest drivers on the track. If I bring up the top 12 for you, which is pretty much half filled at this point. Yeah, and Advaita is slightly pulling away, but he has actually caught up to Vishwas, Vijayaraj up ahead, who are now the two closest drivers. Advait doesn't seem to have gotten any damage. I don't know if Oshan's got any damage. We will have a look at that in a moment once we know what's gonna come out of this fight. But they're getting very close, virtually pushing him through the corner. Has he gotten the better exit that allows him to get on his inside? Not really. But as they head on the main straight, oh, okay. I don't know what happened, but somebody just playing. But Vishwas goes defensive, and Advait is now on his outside. Now the question is, are they going to come out clean out of this? Advait Yoda on the outside gives Vishwas enough room. Vishwas doesn't make any mistake and gives enough room back on the exit of turn 2, and the move has been made, and Advait Yoda is back up into P3. And Sai Sanjay is going lapping a little quicker than Saurabh Bandyopadhyay on the previous lap. So he has started close in on Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, but now the question is, will those two fighting have Advaita close in? Now, looking at Oshan Potharia, Roka, he seems to have a little damage. I'm not too sure if we can just change the angle here. Yeah, he's got minor damage on the front left of his front wing. It's very minor. I don't know how much is it affecting him though. But anyways, we move back on towards the race leaders, who are not too far apart from each other, just 1.3 seconds. Sai Sanjay really showing out his pace early on in this race, but this is not a very short race either, so the tires might come into effect again later on in this race. And Vishwas is in the pit lane all of a sudden. Yeah, I think Vishwas has crashed or something. I don't know what happened there. But Vishwas is in the pit lane, and so is Oshan. Okay, I think there's a crash between them, if I'm not wrong. But while we wait for the gaps to close in, I think we can use this time on rewinding as to see what happened. So we can see these drivers are here. But by the way, the gaps on your screen are currently live screens. Oh, I see. So if we just go back 10 more seconds and then look at Vishwas, and yeah, he's just gone a bit too wide and he spun right in front of Oshan. So completely not at fault Oshan there, but definitely lost out time. But now as we head back onto the live footage, they are in the pits still, both of them, and definitely nothing either one can do. But yeah. For now, this is the order, and Sai Sanjay is again closing in. If we probably go on board with him, oh, he loses the car just a bit, which now will allow Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. Yeah, he has pulled out just a complete second in that one corner, if not more. If we go to the next zone, yes, he has now 2.2 now, and he will gain a bit throughout the rest of the straight, as you guys can see right now. So Sai Sanjay has made a big mistake on that corner, which has lost him over 1.5 seconds on that one corner alone. So now with 2.5 seconds gap to Saurabh Bandyopadhyay and about 8 laps remaining, including this one, is Sai Sanjay going to be able to close in? He will have to close in about quite a few times actually on Saurabh Bandyopadhyay per lap to get that gap back down. It doesn't look like he's gaining enough though. For him to be able to be where he is, where Saurabh is right now, he would have to be gaining about 3 tenths a lap, and he has gained 3 tenths, but then if he needs some time to get to be able to challenge him, he will have to gain a lot more than that. Definitely. And as we see to the corner where he made that mistake, he does look a lot stronger through that this time around. He did gain some time on the exit, So is that gonna help him get some more time throughout the straight? Is my question. Looks to be very static. No, he seems to have lost a bit on the straight, and he needs to get closer now. Yeah, there you go. He's back down. So Sai Sanjay was precisely 2 tenths quicker on the previous lap to Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, and although the other in P3 was even slower. So I believe he does have light damage to his car. You probably have a look on his onboard, and you might get a better idea. But his car seems to be pretty fine. Steering wheel seems to be pretty much in the center, so doesn't look like he's got any sort of camera that will probably lose in time. Maybe a better camera might be the cockpit camera, which should give us a better view of his steering wheel and give us a better idea as to if his car is damaged or not. But at this point in time, not the best idea to be in the cockpit cam, because he is going to be turning quite a bit here, and in that case you won't see a straight steering wheel anyway. So we'll just have to wait for the back straight, or the main straight rather, or maybe just here. I mean, this little moment that we see here, yeah, it's pretty much straight, so I don't think there's anything. But Sai Sanjay has gained majorly on this lap. I don't know what's gone on there. Has Saurabh Bandyopadhyay made a mistake? I'm not too sure, because we did not see that. But oh no, it was Sai Sanjay just being terribly fast. Sai Sanjay gained 6 tenths on that lap with a 1 minute 28.0, which I believe is the same or a bit faster than the qualifying lap time. And Saurabh Bandyopadhyay is on a 28.691. So the 0.6 or pretty much 0.7 is a lot faster, but Sai Sanjay running wide. Could that be a reason as to why he's gone that much faster? I wonder. But no, my timing stream corrects me there and tells me that the previous lap was his best lap, which means it was a valid lap. So he is on that ridiculously quick pace at this point of time, and he is closing in on sort of quicker than we all wanted him to. He just gains so much time through that one corner, and that's probably why he won the previous race very easily yesterday. But the next race tomorrow is also going to be an interesting one. We did have a wonderful battle there in the previous season between Kartik Rani and Elrit Yoda. One of the best battles that we've had in this league so far, now that we are here in season 3. And on the previous lap, Sai Sanjay gains 2 tenths on Saurabh Bandyopadhyay. So Saurabh has improved his lap times. Not that Sai Sanjay has gotten slower. Sai Sanjay going about 1.5 tenths slower than his fastest, and Saurabh Bandyopadhyay is setting his own personal best lap on the previous lap. So just 5 laps to go now. Anything could happen. With 5 laps to go, we can have Saurabh Bandyopadhyay lose out P1. We could have these two drivers end up in a crash, probably just what the commentators curse, but it's all the waiting game now. But I'm assuming that Sai Sanjay might be in striking distance in the next 2 laps, including this one, and then it's just a matter of who's better at defense and offense. Now with just 8 tenths between them, Sai Sanjay should be in some slipstream. Maybe not anything major, but yeah. But by the looks of them going through the last corner, which is the major talking point in terms of overtaking opportunities, I think Sai Sanjay just enters the corner a bit more quicker than Saurabh Bandyopadhyay, which is what explains that he gains a little time mid corner and then loses out some time on the exit, because Saurabh Bandyopadhyay just gets on the throttle that much more quicker on the exit, which then gives him a little bit more straight line speed going towards turn 1. But Sai Sanjay going through the Senna SS did look like made a small mistake and was out of some decent straight line speed opportunities. But now he is using the extra track and using those incident points to his advantage, or trying to use them to his advantage to close in as much as possible. But I believe it looked like Soro went just a tad wide there. Yeah, he just dropped 2/10 of a second through one corner, and this is just getting closer and closer. And Soro Bandapata is blinking. Now that could mean that there might be an incident coming up pretty soon, but then looks like Soro Bandapata's internet's managed to get that back into control, and he is now in the lead. But now with only 3 laps to go as they cross the line, and 8/10 between the two drivers, now 9. I believe the theory that I mentioned a little bit earlier seems to be showing its worth here, and or maybe just I made a mistake on that lap, and yeah, Saurabh Bandapaya is setting his own best time, which actually does not count as his best time because he was blinking so much the game does not count it anymore. Because while he's blinking, if he's off track, then the game doesn't realize that because of his internet connection being not that strong at that point. But he did do a 28.200 the previous lap, which was his fastest. Then Sai Sanjay had done a 1 minute 28.264 on the previous lap. So Sai Sanjay is a lot consistent at this time of the race. And Saurabh Bandapaya earlier in the race, when Sai Sanjay had lost that time to him, was a bit more inconsistent. But it looks like Sai Sanjay is a lot better at the middle part of the track, or in sector 2, and is a bit slower on the other two parts. So as for my prediction, they should be close enough to Sai should be close enough to make a move, but doesn't look like that's the case. So it's just a waiting game now, again, just to see what happens. But now as they exit the last corner again, we can see Sai Sanjay losing out on some time there, and it's just now 2 laps to go when they cross the line. This might be a final lap battle if Sai Sanjay manages to close in enough. Even though Sai Sanjay is in the slipstream, he's not gaining that much time as he would like, for sure. He brings it down to about 6/10 every lap and then loses the rest of it on the main straight. So probably just 2 things that could explain this. One is that his car is slightly damaged, which is slowing him down a bit on the straight, but I don't think that's the case because he's gaining so much time under in the corners. So that definitely explains as to why his car is not damaged as he runs wide, definitely losing even more straight line speed now. But the other reason could be definitely the only other reason that could be is Saurabh Bandapaya just getting an exit that is that much more better. Previous lap, Sai Sanjay did gain 2/10 as a whole with a 1 minute 28.21, and Saurabh Bandapaya with a 1 minute 28.3. And Sai Sanjay doesn't look like he's gaining anything that much on this lap. He is a bit about 1/10 behind to what he was on the previous lap. But now, as we head on to the final lap and 7.5 tenths between these two drivers, Sai Sanjay in the slipstream doesn't seem to have gotten the last corner under control. He's definitely not in the position he would want to be starting the final lap. I would have preferred to be around half a second of him and make the move into the next corner that they're approaching now, turn 4. And if that's not possible, then definitely try to get on the inside on the exit of last corner going on the run down to the line. So that's definitely something that I would be looking at, but doesn't seem like Sai Sanjay is close enough for the turn 4 move, so he's got only one option left unless that fails and Saurabh Bandapaya does win the race. After that, Sai Sanjay is only 8/10 behind him now. He is closer than ever before on this lap at this point of the lap, and he is again quicker through this middle section. As you can see now, he is only 6/10 behind, and if he can bring it to, let's say, 3/10, which is a big ask for sure. Before the last corner, or if he at least manages to get the decent last corner, I think he might just have a little bit of excess in speed to be able to do that. And sort of on the path, they're making sure he doesn't make any mistake. But this is a very crucial point. But Sai Sanjay seems to have gotten the better exit, but I think he is just a bit too far to be able to make that move. He had to be closer a lot sooner, and I don't think he will be able to make the move. And Saurabh Bandyopadhyay wins the second race of round one. We've had two different winners in two races, and Aditya I believe would have made a mistake on some of the other lap, as he is about 25 seconds behind the race leader, the driver in P2, that is Aditya. Sean Ali Mohsin being lapped finishes the race now in front of Aotodromo. Vignesh in P4 finishes the race now, and Sean just celebrating the end of round 1, I assume. And we have Oshan Kotardia now coming in P5. Definitely unfortunate for him to get tangled up with Vishwas on that lap, and definitely something that he would want to improve from next race. And that's basically it, boys, for this race. And now, before without any further ado, let's move on to the race results with after 12 laps of an amazing race what we've had right now. We have Sai Sanjay in P2, Saurabh Bandyopadhyay in P1, just half a second between these two drivers. Definitely a lap or two more, and we could have had a lot more action between these two drivers. Definitely, and Aditya in P3 after that small incident of his own. I believe I'm not too sure. He might have been hit by Sai Sanjay. I didn't really see that incident, but if there are any appeals, there'll definitely be some sort of a decision taken against them. But for now, it is Sai Sanjay in P2 and Aditya in P3. And then Vignesh Kadrabad, the new driver, is in P4. Oshan Kotaria in P5 after the unfortunate incident with Vishwas, and Shan Ali Mohsin in P6. Not too sure what happened to him on lap 1, why he had to pit, and Vishwas in P7. Apparently his car was not getting fixed, but that I assume is just his car being way too damaged to be even fixed. So that's why he probably didn't get his car fixed. But that's the end of round 1, and we will be back for round 2 very soon. That is to be tomorrow at the same time, 4 p.m. Indian Standard Time. We do have a free practice, and qualifying starts at 5 Indian Standard Time, and we will have race 1 about 50 minutes after qualifying as it ends. And I hope to see you soon there, and I'm gonna leave you guys with the results now.